there, my name's Lave and I saw Star Wars The Force Awakens again, so now I'm going to tell you what I thought about it and give you my spoiler talk. That's your warning. Spoilers! If you're one of the 5 people that hasn't seen it, stop watching this video now. Stop it! Check out my spoiler-free review by clicking here or clicking in the link in the description. Alright, let's talk spoilers. Luke Skywalker's not in this film. Ooh. Okay, he is in it, but right at the very end, and at the beginning of the film, in the scrolling titles, it says, Luke Skywalker has disappeared. I was like, oh my god, they've made Luke Skywalker a MacGuffin. Maybe he's gonna get his power converters. So after the title credits, it starts off with a familiar shot of a Star Destroyer closing in on a planet, which turns out to be Jakku. All the stormtroopers are gearing up, getting ready for war. Yeah, this is the First Order and they mean business. They're getting ready to intercept a rebellion meeting between Poe Dameron, played by Oscar Isaac, brilliant, and Lorsan Tekka, played by Max von Sydow, old school actor. It was great to see him. Each of the trilogies has that kind of actor in it, but then Kylo Ren turns up and he's dead. Oh, good work, Max. And that's one of my gripes with the film. There are a few characters which I was expecting to see more of. Poe Dameron gets kidnapped, rescued, and then you don't really see him till the last act. Captain Phasma, played by Game of Thrones' Gwendolyn Christie. Domhnall Gleeson's General Hux. All of them played their parts well, but they had very little screen time. But you can understand why they did it, because there's a lot of new characters mixing in with the old, and if they'd given them any more screen time, it would have messed with the pacing and made it a 3-hour film. After all, we still got episode 8 and 9 to flesh them out a little bit more, because they all survived this one. Better to concentrate on the new protagonists. And one of those new characters is Finn. So he was one of the stormtroopers who goes down to the planet to intercept the rebellion meeting. It's his first combat mission, and he sees how brutal they are and has a crisis of conscience, so he decides to leave the First Order, and he's actually the one who rescues Poe. And what's really interesting about Finn is that they did the old bait and switch in the trailers. They really made out that he was going to be the Jedi of the film, but no, he's just an ordinary dude trying to do the right thing who just happens to get entangled with BB-8 and Rey. Loved Rey. The Force is strong with Rey. So there's a lot of speculation as to who Rey is. There's a pretty convincing theory that she's a Kenobi. She could easily be Luke Skywalker's daughter. What's great is that you don't find out and they leave us to speculate. However, the second time round I was really looking for clues. My theory is, if she is Luke Skywalker's daughter, then you would think that Han would know it. There is a scene in Maz Kanata's bar when she asks Han, who's the girl? And I was like, oh, and then it cuts away. Also, Daisy Ridley really reminds me of Keira Knightley. Keira Knightley was in The Phantom Menace and played Queen Amidala's bodyguard or double, because she does look like Natalie Portman a little bit, and Natalie Portman is Luke and Leia's mother. Just saying. I know it's an obvious route to take, but it keeps the theme of Skywalker versus Skywalker, because Kylo Ren is a Skywalker. He's a solo Skywalker. Shut up, you know what I mean. As I said in my spoiler-free review, I really like Kylo Ren. The way he uses the Force is really cool, and I like how they flipped it. Normally it's the good Jedi feeling the pull of the dark side, but Kylo Ren says a couple of times that he feels the pull of the good side, and I really got the impression that he was conflicted, and I love how he speaks.
I will finish what you have started.
I knew that Adam Driver was playing Kylo Ren, but when he does take off his helmet, and he does a couple of times, I was like, oh my god, he's just a kid. An angry, petulant kid, I'll give you that. I know a lot of people didn't like that scene because they lighten it up with a bit of humour, but I actually didn't mind it because I found the situation funny, not that Kylo Ren was being funny. So Kylo Ren is just a conflicted, angry kid, which brings us to the emotional peak of the film, which is when he kills his dad. Yep, Han's dead. Now, I was totally expecting this scene to happen. It's well known that Harrison Ford wanted to kill off the character back in Empire Strikes Back. So the moment that Han shouted Ben on when he's on that platform and they had their confrontation, I was thinking, yeah, this is it. So I wasn't really shocked when it happened, but I thought they acted it really well. The bit where he stabs him with the lightsaber and he puts his hand to his son's face and then falls, I did get a little bit of a lump in my throat, but I have to admit I did roll my eyes a little bit with the not so subtle metaphor for the light and the dark side of the Force. You know, the bit when Kylo Ren is handing Han his lightsaber and you think he's going to give it to him, but then he doesn't, and that's when he stabs him, and then he turns to the dark side just as the light is being sucked away from the sun and it goes dark. The darkness symbolises obviousness. And I'm not sure about the Star Killer base as well. The whole time I was thinking about the logistics of it. If they drain the energy from the sun every time they use it, wouldn't the planet become uninhabitable and die? Can they move the planet? To be fair, I found it weird in A New Hope with the Death Star moves in that. It's a bit like, move the Death Star into attack position. When we get there, shit's going down. So yeah, the Starkiller base is another Death Star, and that's what the film's being criticised most for, is that it is just a retelling of A New Hope. And it totally is, I do agree with that argument. You've got the droid that's given the mission, the young protagonist on a desert planet wishing for more, the fatherly figure that dies, and the rebellion attack on the Death Star. But for me personally, I didn't mind that at all. The whole time it made me think of a conversation I had with one of my mates when we went to go and see The Phantom Menace. He told me that he saw a documentary where George Lucas said that life kind of repeats itself, kind of like a sonnet. Yeah, that's right, Star Wars and poetry. For me, it was more important that they capture the feel of the original Star Wars. The way I see it, The Force Awakens is reintroducing us into the Star Wars universe, and now we've got 2 other films to build upon it, and I cannot wait. I love the fact that it has answered a lot of the questions, but it's left me with even more. Like, who the hell is Snoke? Is he really that big? Who is Rey's parents? And most importantly, how the hell did Maz Kanata get the bloody lightsaber? So that's my thoughts on Star Wars The Force Awakens, and here's my enjoyment tracker. Pause the video now if you want to take a closer look. As I say, it's reintroduced us into the Star Wars universe, and I cannot wait to see where it goes in episode 8 and episode 9. Over to you, Ryan Johnson. So my question this week is simply, have you seen The Force Awakens and what did you think about it? Tell me in the comments. Subscribe.